Is this a Little Caesars? Because the news keeps coming in hot and fast, including a look at the Switch 2 UI, which we'll get into more in a second. But we got box arts to talk about, new accessories, new details on how game upgrades will work, and one little concerning thing about some game cards. So let's get to it right now. And again, this is our first official look, and maybe only look so far, at the actual UI. And it looks remarkably similar to the current Switch, including the NSO icon, the settings over there, which we also saw in the Direct, and the settings page looks very similar too, power, but there are some new things here as well. Like a C button app, probably does the exact same thing as the C button itself, or something very similar. Then we have this notepad looking thing, which I think might be for the news channel perhaps, so having that directly and more easily accessible would make a lot of sense. Nintendo eShop icon looks maybe a little different, I think. I like the circle, by the way, that surrounds everything. Nice little cleaner look. Then we have what could be downloads, I think. Then the controller settings and maybe memory management. So some of that is very similar. It looks like some things have been branched off. Actually, the memory one thing is interesting. You'd think that'll be in settings. So maybe that's a game card thing? I'm not entirely sure. Anyways, that is the UI. Maybe a little underwhelming, but definitely within the Switch family. And of course, we have to see it in emotion. The fact that this one is totally blank, like the current Switch, is making me thinking that themes may still be coming, but there's absolutely no proof of that. So we'll have to wait and see. Andre from the future here. We'll get back to the rest of the news in a second, because something else related to the UI has just popped in, being a look at the eShop. So on the surface, it looks a little similar, though there are some new options like game finds for you. Let me get out of the way here. That will suggest apparently custom recommendations, which is pretty cool. So let's go ahead and check out the video. We're not going to watch the whole thing, but we'll skip through a little bit of it. And let me get back on screen a little bit here. So it's going to find games for us. It's going to start recommending games immediately, which is pretty neat. And then it'll slide through them, so you can, I assume you can slide through it. And it even tells you history about the game, like you played with a friend, being Hanako in this case, in the bottom right. It tells you it's similar to other games you played in the genre. And yeah, that's super cool. So look at that. And it's all very, very quick so far. We can see the actual game page itself. It looks very similar to how it does currently. And let's skip ahead to the end. And there we go. So you got caught up on this week's finds, and then it tells the expected release date of the next update being 4/9. So I guess this is a more customized way of finding Switch 2 games. Very cool. So with that, we're gonna move on to the rest of the news. Being box arts, and I wanted to show these off. These look beautiful. Of course, some of it, or a lot of it, is still the same key art. But we also see how the Switch 2 box is going to look in general. With the giant red border, which I'm not really a huge fan of, it puts almost too much emphasis on the Switch 2 itself, which I guess is the intent. They want you to know this is separate from Switch 1 game. So, mission successful, but like the weird little tiny icon up there, like I would have stretched it out. I would move the icon itself to the left, put the Nintendo Switch logo bigger to the right, but maybe that might still confuse people. I don't know. Weird icon. I don't like the use of space, and maybe they'll come back to this at some point in the future. Anyways, the box art itself looks amazing, as we've already seen largely through the game itself. But let's look at others. Metroid Prime 4, the Nintendo Switch 2 edition. This one makes it very obvious, so I like that without even needing the banner, but they use it anyway, of course, because it's on Switch 2. Moving on, Donkey Kong. It's Bonanza! I thought it was Banana this whole time. I'm an idiot. Bonanza is actually arguably even better, because it's basically Banana, but Bonanza. I love it. Look at that box. That's my favorite so far of the bunch, the Banana bunch, if you will. That looks amazing. Love the energy. Continuing on, we got Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, Nintendo Switch 2 edition. I think, here we go, Breath of the Wild. I got a little backwards here. But yeah, it looks very similar to the existing box arts, just, with the new labels. Now, more exciting, we have more news of upgraded games on Switch, upgraded Switch 1 games on Switch 2. Here is a list of games that Nintendo says will be free updates to improve playability on Switch 2, and they will be released for these following games: ARMS, Captain Toad, Mario Odyssey, 3D World plus Bowser's Fury, Clubhouse Games, Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening, Echoes of Wisdom, Game Builder Garage. You know what? It already supports mouse support, so this probably means Joy-Con mouse support, I would guess. Maybe they'll expand the node limit, though. That'd be amazing. New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe. But I don't even know I'm pointing correctly here. Sorry. Pokemon Scarlet, Pokemon Violet, and Big Brain Academy Brain vs. Brain. That's surprising, actually. I wouldn't expect that to come back. So there you go. These are free enhancements for your current Switch games, which is exciting, and they say the contents will be different depending on the game, so we don't know for sure, but at least some of these should run better, maybe look better, and have maybe some new features or compatibility, like with the Switch 1 mouse. So this is great. Like Captain Toad, for instance, could use the mouse instead of, I think, didn't have touchscreen stuff on the Wii U. Did they get rid of that on Switch? I can't remember. Anyways, that might be a good way of handling it. And maybe menu support in Link's Awakening for the mouse? That'd be nice. That menu's horrible. All right, let's move on to the other news. Actually, we got one thing at the end here. Let's go back to Mario Kart. These are the official wheels for Mario Kart and any other game wants to support them with the new Joy-Cons, which means these wheels are going to be bigger. They'll feel probably more like the Wii wheel, which is great, because the ones on Switch 1 were like microscopic. These are much better, and I'm excited for it. So I actually love the Wii wheel, so I'm glad to see that back. Let's move on to the next news, which is, speaking of compatibility, or games that run on Switch 2 better, here are some games that have issues running on Switch 2. I'm not going to read through all of them, though Alan Wake Remastered is an unfortunate one to launch with up there, along with Alien Isolation. Fall Guys is another one of the problems, Just Dance 2019. So some notable games on here. I'll keep that list. You can pause if you want to read the whole list. There's a second, actually, list here too, which you can see is right here. Sorry, I think I had the alphabetical order wrong. But anyways, there you go. Let's move on to some more news from Wario 64. Rounding up the prices for us for the Switch 2 Pro Controller, $80, which honestly is probably the least bad news of the day for prices. That actually seems reasonable. I would still love it to be cheaper, but whatever. Joy-Cons are $90. That's unfortunate. Camera's $50, and the dock set is $110, which I think isn't too far out of line with the Switch 1, maybe. I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong, chat, in the comments. Next, we have some concerning news. It's not a sure thing, but this is where they're talking about Switch 2 game key cards. Not game cards, game key cards. As they are saying, some games will come on this, which is not a game card. There is no actual game data, as far as I'm aware, on it, or not complete game data at least, and you have to download the games to actually play them. Now, Switch 1 already had things like this, but the fact of making a big deal specifically about the game key card in this case makes me really worried. It makes me wonder if any first-party games will use this too. Meaning, you're really not buying physical media in this case. You're basically just buying a physical version of the digital version, which you still need to download. So this is almost kind of pointless. Like, this is more for like maybe gifting purposes, but otherwise those game cards aren't going to do anything more for you than the digital downloads would have. So this is concerning. Keep an eye on this. So be aware of what you buy at the store. If it's a game card, that'll be unfortunate. And luckily, they are putting a label down there, which, by the way, we can go back to the box arts actually, and none of these seem to have that same label. So I'm not too worried right now about first-party games, but a lot of third-party games may do that, which again exists on Switch 1, but they're making a bigger deal about it here. But I am glad they're bringing transparency to it. I just hope there's not too much more. And that's pretty much it, everyone. That is all the news for you. So let's end on this Switch UI, I guess, which I will bring up back here. I was trying to zoom in on it, but I can't anymore. Darn it! But yeah, that's it. So Switch UI a little underwhelming. Switch 2 UI a little underwhelming so far. But hopefully there's more to it. Hopefully custom things will make up for it. And I will say, I actually really like the Switch menus, the Switch UI. I just hope this one has more theme, more energy to it. I do like the color they've added here. Like, it seems to be more colorful than others. And really, actually, the gray icons really indicate that those are more settings-based. So this is a fun way of doing it. I hope the NSO app gets improved, because I'm not a huge fan of how that works currently. But anyways, I'm just jabbering here. We got more stuff to do. Thanks for watching, everyone. If there's any more major news, I'll come back to it. Wait! We got breaking news! Apparently, if you look at the trailer for compatible Nintendo Switch games, look at this. Look at that! Do you see that? Do you know what that is? That is Yoshi's Woolly World. They have not confirmed this game, especially because it's not a Switch game. It's a Wii U game. That seems like it's probably being ported to Switch. So they're bringing the Yoshi game previous to Yoshi's Crafted World with Yoshi's Woolly World to the Nintendo Switch seemingly, unless they somehow made a massive asset error. But my inclination is to think that is coming to Nintendo Switch 1 in the near future and will work on Switch 2, and obviously given this. Again, not a sure thing, but that seems to suggest that more Switch games are on the way, which is really exciting. So with that, everyone, that's basically it for me now. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe to the channel if you want more Switch 2 news, more analysis, more whatever we do here. A lot of things. And thanks for watching. With that, we'll catch you later. Bye, everyone.